The finale of week number 5, our Winter Equestrian Festival, coming your way here in just about 6 minutes. So the riders finish up their course walk. $62,500 purse. First racing 2-star Grand Prix with 44 on the list. Time first jump off for the formula in our class competition being presented and sponsored by North America's premier thoroughbred racing, entertainment, and wagering company, with horse care at its core first. It's redefining racing and the ecosystem that drives it. And again, inviting you to visit Florida's very own Gulfstream Park to catch the thrills of racing with your friends and family. Go to Gulfstream.com for more information about the year-round racing, premium suites, and spectacular trackside dining. Also, Winter Equestrian Festival and First Racing partner to put a spotlight on your shared vision for equestrian excellence. And again, you can sign up, deposit, wager, again, be a VIP guest, enjoy a $150 deposit match and a $10 free bet on behalf of the association with the Winter Equestrian Festival. Be our guest, Gulfstream Park and the Carousel Club. Underway at 1:50, we are now 5 minutes post time for the First Racing 2-star Grand Prix. Final course of the week now. We have a total of 13 obstacles, 16 efforts in the opening round. They will finish up over in the Tiki Hut corner over fence number 13 here in the opening round. And the time allowed in the opening stages will be 74 seconds. Time allowed at 74 here in the initial round. First is on approach now. Time allowed is 74 for the opening round. 44 to show. We'll have a midway drag break as well as part of our formula here today. And our first racing two-star Grand Prix getting underway with Ona Vandal and TJ O'Mara for the Stonehead Stables of Ocean, New Jersey, upon the Belgian Warm Blood mare. The 10-year-old will lead us off.
Four jumping, 2 for time, 75.41. Time allowed of 74 seconds. Picks up 2 on the clock as well. For first out, TJ O'Mara and the 10-year-old mare, Ona Vandal.
Here's the 12-year-old Swedish warm blood gelding, Ideal, guided by the rider Tanner Karakin for the Castlewood Farm Incorporated and Sandalwood Farm of Wellington. First round of the first racing two-star Grand Prix.
Just having a score of 4 at 73.61 inside the 74 seconds. Just the Japanese fans dropping. It is 4 there for Tanner Karakin and Ideal.
Introducing a pairing of Marilyn Little and Everton PJ. The 10-year-old Hanoverian gelding is owned by Marilyn and the Stepx stables. Marilyn from West Palm Beach, Stepx from Belgium.
4 jumping, 3 for time, total of 7 at 76.51, and 7 there for Marilyn Little and Everton PJ.
We acquaint you now with the rider representing Israel, Alberto Michan, the owner rider, bearing with the Dutch warm blood gelding, the 10-year-old joint de cannabis van de Doornhoeven.
Total of 12 there at 73.80. It's 12 there for Albert Demisha and joint de cannabis.
For the owners, the Skyline Sport Horses of Wellington here at Matt Williams representing Australia. And he's up on the 9-year-old Irish Sport Horse gelding. This is Louis-Dam Quality.
Sixteen jumping, 5 for time, 78.52, total of 21 there for Australia. Matt Williams this time with Louis-Dam Quality.
The rider Tina Yates joins us here in the international lineup and is aboard Baglioni. This is a 10-year-old mare under the ownership of Stephen Mackin of Wellington.
Finishing on 4 there at 72.15, 4:58, and Baglione will produce 4 faults, 2 combinations on 4 so far. Tanakarok in an ideal, 28th, Baglione is the 2 4-faulters. Best scores to date.
Here's Colombia's Andrea Torres, appearing now with the 9-year-old Belgian warm-blood mare. This is Picara Polka Amaretta, showing out of the Santa Catalina farm in Lake Worth.
Last fence drops, a total of 12 for Andrea Torres and Picara Polka Amaretta, finishing on 12, 73.04.
For the USA here, Maria Costa, and partnered with the 10-year-old, or the 9-year-old gelding, this is Casello. Casello owned by the Ravella Farms of Wellington, Florida.
Clear jumping, but 2 for time. It's 75.38, just 2 ticks over the clock. It is on a score of just 2. Best score so far, Maria Costa there and Casello.
Viewing the first racing CSI 2-star Grand Prix, our finale for today. And here for Canada, Nicole Walker is up on the 9-year-old stallion. This is the Belgian warm blood Panther JVH. Nicole, the owner and rider from Aurora, Ontario.
Gets there at 73.99, literally on the border there of the time. Perfectly put inside for Nicky Walker and Panther JVH against the time allowed of 74 seconds. First clear of this first racing two-star Grand Prix.
The next rider showing out of her home base in Kenilworth, Illinois, we have Emma Sargent joining us, and she is aboard the 13-year-old Dutch warm blood mare. This is Giolita.
Total of 8 jumping and 1 for time there. Total of 9 from a Sargent and Giolita also dropping a rail in the fan fence for them, and so leaves them on a score of 9. 1 clear so far for Nicky Walker and Panther JVH.
The 11-year-old mare Diablotine Jump will be the ride for Cassidy Rain, showing the Rain family-owned entry, joining us from their home base in Raleigh, North Carolina. The rider for Canada.
Well, 16th jumping and time to add as well, but completes there for Cassidy Rain. Well recovered with Diablo Teen jump for the young Canadian, in fact 20 plus time.
So far, we've seen 11 out of our 44 starters. Just the one on the list for the jump off. First racing two-star continues with Abigail McCardle as the owner rider aboard Olympia Bennett Seichenhoff. The rider Abigail McCardle teamed up with the 10-year-old Belgian warm blood mare.
Four jumping, one for time, a total of 5 for Abigail McCardle this time, and Olympia finished on 5 at 74.52. One clear, and then 2 time faults for Maria Costa after that, with Costello. Tina Yates in third at the moment on 4 faults.
Here from the Southfields Farm in Collegeville, Pennsylvania, David Oberkircher handles the riding assignment with the 13-year-old Deutsche Sporthorse stallion Volcato.
There it is for David Oberkircher and Volcato at 73.80. So there is a battle for the title. There'll be 2 going for it so far. David Oberkircher joining the clear of Nikki Walker.
Here, Charlie Jacobs with the CMJ Sport Horse own entry at Boston. And Charlie teamed up with a 10-year-old Dutch warm blood gelding, Jimmy Lee, GJB.
Last fence just dropping as well, makes it 2 down on course for Charlie Jacobs this time, and Jimmy Lee on 72.92.
Here's the 12-year-old Swedish warm-blood gelding. Play is owned and exhibited by Stella Wasserman from Beverly Hills, California.
(73.72). Stella Wasserman inside the time there with Play as well. So they will be playing into the jump off 2. Gives us our third clear. Coming from Stella Wasserman this time. Alongside now Nicky Walker and David Oberkircher.
Here's a combo of Mia Bagnano from Fishkill, New York, and Balliolskill Big Bucks for the Elon Farm of Newark, New Jersey. Next up in our first racing 2-star Grand Prix opening round, the Irish Sport Horse Gelding, Balliolskill Big Bucks.
Close, but just over the time allowed. Finishing on 2 there at 75.47 for Mia Bagnato and Balliolskill Big Bucks. Finishing on a score of 2 to go into 5th place.
Here representing Brazil in our lineup for the 2-star opening round. Here's Luis Francisco de Azevedo with HVG Quamen. 11-year-old gelding from the Santa Cecilia stables of Wellington, rider for Brazil.
For the score in a time of 71.60, inside the time okay, but one fence down to again at the fan double. Luis Francisco Azevedo, this time the victim, with HFG Quaman for Brazil. Goes into sixth.
Taking up the challenge now in round number one here is Wilton Porter for the Sleepy Pea Ranch located here in Wellington. And he is teamed up with a 10-year-old Hanoverian gelding, Sternmark 3.
Well, clear over the fences, but three for time, 76.74, just adrift of that time allowed of 74 seconds, leaves three on the scoreboard for Wilton Porter and Sternmark 3 to go into sixth place.
North Carolina resident Doug Payne will be handling the riding duties aboard Emeraldo for Payne Equestrian in Rougemont, North Carolina. Now on course for the 11-year-old Belgian warm blood gelding.
Well, but unfortunately not through the finish, but it is Elimination there for Doug Payne and Emeraldo, both up and okay, just having a little jog around, but unfortunately means the end of their round. It is 3 clears so far in this first racing 2-star Grand Prix. David Oberkircher, Stella Wasserman and Nikki Walker to date.
Let's see everybody back up as they head out. Boy Adrian van Gelderen for Belgium will be the next rider to show in our 2-star first round with the Dutch Warmblood mare, the 10-year-old Jaslyn WP for the APG stables for Belgium.
So close, winner earlier on this week, but it's 3-time this time, 76.45. Boy Adrian van Gelderen and Jaslyn WP will finish on 3, goes into 6th place so far, and one of 2 combinations on 3 faults, placed in 6th, Wilton Porter 7th, and 2 on 2 time, Maria Costa and Mia Bagnato making up 4th and 5th.
First to 2 now before our midway drag break here is Richard Neal from here in Wellington, the owner rider with the Lacia Gelding, 13-year-old Catamaco LS. 3 so far for the jump off. Our class brought to you by First Racing, $62,500 purse, 2-star Grand Prix.
Finishing on 16 at 72.28.16 there for Richard Neal this time with Kate Tamako, LS.
Here's Cartagena and Lucy Delorier. They'll take us up to our drag break and halfway point of our competition up on the Estonian sport horse mare. This is a 10-year-old owned by Lucia of New York. Drag break coming up following this round, holding at 3 clear so far.
Jumping 6-time, Lucy Delorier and Cartagena finishing on a total of 14 overall for Lucy. And so moves them down a little further down the order, still top 20. And we are halfway through our $62,500 first racing 2-star Grand Prix. Just going to set up for the second half, little touch of maintenance to the arena as well. And just going to be around a few minutes before we return for part 2 of this Grand Prix class. Clear so far from David Oberkirch and Volcato, Stella Wasserman and Play, and Nikki Walker and Panther JVH.
About to return to action now to be nonstop through the balance of our first round, our $62,500 first racing CSI two-star Grand Prix. Total of 3 clear. We have Canada and 2 riders from the USA represented. Nicole Walker from Canada, David Oberkircher and Stella Wasserman from the home side. We move on now halfway through, 22 to left, and here's Haley Royce. Barney Blue 3 will get us back underway for Royce Sport Horses of Wellington. Haley is partnered with the 11-year-old Hanoverian mare, Barney Blue 3.
Just on forward, 72.71 for there of Haley Royce this time, and Barney Blue 3 as we resume into the second half, just on the 4 faults.
Here's the riding partnership of Jacqueline Rule and Sermo Z, the Zangerzai mare, and there's a 13-year-old owner ridden for the competitor out of Navasota, Texas.
Last fence just dropping the Griffiths Ox. There it is, 8 faults there, 2 down for Jack and Rule this time. And Seramo Z, so still holding at the 3 clears.
Here to represent Ireland, we introduce Nikki Galligan, partner with the VDL Nikita van der Leeuwerk. The Belgian warm blood mare, the 11-year-old, is owned by the Santa Rosa Group from Los Angeles. Rider for Ireland.
Going clear there for Nicky Gallagher at 72.82 with VDL Nikita for the Irish rider. As the list clears, Nicky Gallagher giving us number 4.
Could be a big weekend for the Irish as we now have 4 on the list. We had Laura Chapeau on the way in, and here is CNC Willow. It's Irish sport horse mare and a 9-year-old from Laura and Mary Chapeau of Neshannock Station, New Jersey.
Total of 12 there at 71.27. It's 12 in total, 3 down for Laura Chapeau this time with CNC Willow.
12-year-old Self-Ronte mare Cristalia du Ravel will be the ride for Ramiro Quintana, representing his home country of Argentina in our field today, and the horse under the ownership of Esperanza Imports of Wellington.
Eight jumping one time, total of 9 there at 74.95 from Ramiro Quintana and Cristalia de Ravel. Takes them to a score of 9, still top 20.
On the way in now, we introduce our next rider representing Chile in our lineup. Here's Jorge Matt Capdevilla, he owned a rider with Equine America. It's Mia de Sol. Chilean rider is piloting a Belgian sport horse gelding, a 10-year-old.
8 jumping 3 for time for Jorge Capdevilla for the Pan Am rider for Chile. Equine America, it's me. Finishes on a total of 11.
16 left in the jump off, or in the first round before we reach a 4-rider jump off at this point. And we introduce Kelly Arani as the next rider on course with Martini. 12-year-old Belgian warm blood mares who ride for Kelly for the America at Bay Farm of Wellington.
Last fence goes as well. It is 2 down, 8 falls there for Kelly Arani and Madani. And they go to a score, time-wise, of 73-63 for Kelly.
Here's the second rider for Argentina here in our lineup today. Tommy Joffre is aboard Cardora. It's a 14-year-old Holsteiner mare owned by Stellium Sport Horses of Wellington.
Finishing on forwards, 73-87 for Thomas Joffre there, and Cardora for the Argentinian, previous winner of Grand Prix up in Traverse City for Tommy, and just on the 4 faults.
Here's Riley Heiler and her mount, Casina 64, piloting a 15-year-old Oldenburg mare, Kurt Heiler from Boston, Massachusetts, for the ownership.
Just on forward, 72.89, going close, but just one rail for Rally Hyla and Casina 64. Still the four clears in this first racing Grand Prix this afternoon. David Oberkirch, Stella Wassman, Nikki Walker and Nikki Gallagher.
Here's Molly Ashcali and Conrad 119 for our opening round, showing for the Lewisburg Farm in Boston. And Molly teamed up with the 14-year-old Oldenburg Gelding.
Four jumping and one for time, total of 5 there at 74.05. Molly Ashcali and Conrad 119.
Here's Eve Jobs as the owner and the rider with High Point VDL. Eve from Palo Alto, California, and she is aboard a 12-year-old Dutch warm blood gelding for our opening round.
Just on the four faults there at 72.94, it's 4 there for Eve Jobs, and High Point VDL puts them into 13th place on just one rail.
Irish rider Derek Herons will be up on our next horse here at Lucino, also owned by Eve Jobs from California. Rider based here in Wellington for Ireland, 13-year-old Holsteiner Stallion.
Going clear there for Derek Owens and Licino. It is a clear round for them, and one of 5 so far. So Derek Owens going into the clear list with Eve Jobs' Licino.
Francis Derwin and the Mount Elian will be next for the Santa Rosa group out of Los Angeles, California. He is partnered with a 15-year-old Dutch warm blood mare.
Finishing on solo 4 there, Francis Derwin of Ireland and Elian at 73.71, just finishing on the 4 faults.
9 to go before the jump off in our 2-star Grand Prix, and here is Sydney Shulman Desiderio, J. Boston SC for the rider representing Israel here in our lineup. 15-year-old Belgian warm blood stallion is owned by Jill Shulman from Greenwich, Connecticut.
Going clear there for Sydney Shulman Desiderio and J. Boston SC at 72.04, and puts them nicely as the 6th clear round of the class so far. Going in reverse order of those coming through from that qualifying class earlier on this week as well. So looking good into our next group of a strong group.
For the Blue Hill Farm out of Salt Lake City, Utah, the next rider in the opening round, Rebecca Conway, handles the assignment aboard Unistar Dyson Big Z. Zankerzai mare, the 10-year-old, shown by Rebecca Conway. So far on our list for the jump off, countries of Ireland, Israel, and the USA. and Canada, part of our group for 6 coming back.
Finished on a score of 8 for Becky Conway there, and Unistar at 73.48, finishing with 2 down on 8.
Here for Great Britain is Jessica Mendoza, the owner rider up on In the Air, and Dutch Warm Blood mare, an 11-year-old Jessica, based here in Wellington, Florida. Class sponsored here today by North America's premier thoroughbred racing, entertainment, and wagering company, as we salute first in our 2-star Grand Prix.
Going clear at 73.08, Jessica Mendoza, and in the air, perfectly in the air to get the next that clears, and it goes into the 7th clear of the lineup so far.
So our list increases now to 7, and our next competitor will be Tom Watchman with Catalina S. for Coolmore Show Jumping of Tipperary. Irish rider with a 15-year-old Deutsche Sport Horse mare trying to add their name to the list. So far, we have 7 clear.
Just on 4 there for Tom Watchman and Catalina S at 71.46, leaves them with just 1 fence down for Tom.
First to 5 remaining in the opening round, and here is the El Milagro entry, Eugenio Garza, Victor Finn, DHC. Rider representing Mexico in our lineup with the Zangerzide gelding, the 16-year-old Victor Finn for El Milagro.
Going clear at 70.6 for Eugenio Garza and Victor Finn DHZ gives them a good shot too. Swiftly taking us up to 8 clears now. Like I say, we're going reverse order of qualifying too. So the best of the qualifying pack from earlier on this week also coming into this final group.
We introduce our next rider, Sarah Siegel, for Horatio Street Ventures out of Flemington, New Jersey. She is partnered with a 13-year-old Cell Francais mare, Boreal du Faucon.
Finish on just a score of 4.72.08 for Sarah Siegel there, and Boreal de Faucon finishes on the 4 faults, goes into 15th place.
Three to go now, 8 clear for the time jump off. The presently our next rider on the way in here in our first racing 2-star Grand Prix. 2-star Grand Prix winner last weekend on weekend number 4 here for Great Britain. Grace Stebney will handle the riding duties aboard Prix HS for Temple Equestrian in Hampton, Massachusetts. Grace riding the 10-year-old Dutch warm blood mare Prix.
Going clear there for Grace Debney at 72.95. Grace with Je suis HS will swiftly take us up to 9 clears. 5 coming out of around the last 8 combinations so far, with just 2 left to come in the first round.
Here's Alexander Worthington and Dulois Cellier for Turn a Blind Eye of Las Vegas, Nevada. First half of the remaining 2. Teamed up with 11-year-old Cell Francais Gelding, and we have 1 to follow. And again, 9 are clear.
Going clear there for Alexander Worthington and Lustier for the rider that goes with a time of 71.11, and the US rider gives us number 10 into the jump-off.
Winning combination on Friday's Grand Prix qualifier for our 2-star division. Here from Mexico, last to go, Jeremy Perez Nunez and Felicia Ducocari. Owner of the rider, based here in Wellington during our winter months, up on the 9-year-old mare. Last in round number 1.
Four jumping, 2 for time, total of 6 at 75.68 for Jeremy Perez Nunez and Felicia Ducocari for the rider for Mexico. So it's 10 that go into the jump-off of this first racing 2-star Grand Prix. And their first out of the starting blocks will be Nicky Walker and Panther JVH. To be joined by David Oberkircher and Volcato, Stella Wasserman in play, Sydney Schulman Desiderio, J Boston SE, Grace Debney and Je suis HS, Nikki Galligan and VDL Nikita, Alex Worthington and Lusnier, and also joining them are Derek Herrins and Licino. Jessica Mendoza and In the Air and Eugenio Garza and Victor Finn, DHZ, are those taking part in the jump off for this first racing sponsored Grand Prix. Well, also to go into the jump off of this first racing two-star Grand Prix here this afternoon. Short course over the tracks this week, designed by Gregory Bordeaux and Philipp Schwender from Germany. It is starting over fence 3 this time, as we kick off in the very centre of the course at the MS fence. From fence 3 to 4, so keeping it simple in the early stages, down to the sculpted horses' heads with the plain blue poles. From there to 5A and B, coming to the green double with the gold banding, and so the white at 5A and B, what was the triple, now just the 2 parts there. And then to fence 10, after that across the arena to the next on course, and that is going to be the Florida scenery. And then from there it is to 11, and then to 15 and 16 to complete. So that's the lineup for the jump of 3, 4, 5, AB, 10, 11, 15 and 16, completing down at the far end of the arena. That's fence 13, a vertical this time, and that's going to be turning past the entrance to the arena, so jumping in the opposite direction as well. So going into that jump off in just a few moments' time, the first racing Grand Prix sees them racing for the cash, $62,500 in the pot.
And the Kubota tractors are on the way out, and we hope you'll check out GulfstreamPark.com. And for more information about year-round racing, premium suites, spectacular trackside dining. We thank them for their support. 6 countries will be involved for the hunt for the top prize here today. 10 riders returning and just about to get underway. Short track will carry a time allowed of 60 seconds, 10 to come back. First one is on the approach now, 10 to return, representing 6 countries. Underway now, the first of 10 to return, representing Canada in our lineup. And getting us started now is the Pathfinder from round number 1. Here's Nicole Walker with Panther JVH.
Finishing on a score of 8 at 45-25. It's 8 falls there, 2 down this time into the jump off for Nikki Walker, the Pathfinder there with Panther JVH.
Three riders from the home side are involved in our first racing two-star Grand Prix jump-off. First of those three, David Overkircher from Collegeville, Pennsylvania, with the Southfields Farm Volcato.
On a score of 8 faults and 42.57, best of the two so far, but two down also for David Overkircher and Volcato in the early stages.
Third rider back, and the second for the USA here in our jump-off, Stella Wasserman out of California, showing the Swedish warm blood play.
On a score of 8 as well, it's 3 with 8 so far. Stella Wasserman and Play go around in 41.02. So again, a little bit quicker, and they now go into the lead of that group, but still with 8 against the score.
Representing Ireland. Representing Ireland in our lineup now, here at Nikki Galligan and VDL Nikita van der Leeuwenhoek. 11-year-old Belgian warm blood mare trying to better the score of 8.
Good round from Nicky Gallagher of Ireland and VDL Nikita round in 38.95 and puts the 0 score against their line 2, and it is going to be clear, and it's the fastest as well regardless, 38.95, but it is clear for Nicky to now set the pace.
Next horse in our original order just threw a shoe out in the paddock area. We'll move on now to the next rider here in the lineup for Israel. Sidney Shulman Desiderio returning with J. Boston Essie. Just saw the target displayed, 38.95 with a clear at the top of the list.
Trying for the time, 39.22, but also just the one fence down. It's forward into second so far for Sydney Schulman Desiderio and J. Boston SE. Still just a fraction behind the time of Nicky Gallagher, who leads on 38.95, but into second.
5 left now in the deciding round, and the ride for Jessica Mendoza. First of 2 British riders in our lineup. In the Air will be up next.
Finishing on a score of 4 at 45.15, just the one down, and the horse sculptures there into third so far for Jessica Mendoza, and In the Air goes into third.
Here from Mexico, Eugenio Garza on the return with Victor Finn DHC for El Milagro of Wellington, representing Mexico. Irish rider with the only clear round so far, Nicky Gallagher topping the field. Our challenger coming up from Mexico, followed by 3 more.
Just on 4 faults, 36.43 fastest so far by, again, a margin, but it is 1 down for Eugenio Garza and longtime partner Victor Finn DHZ. Puts them into second place so far. Nicky Gallagher still leading with the only double clear to date.
3 to go now. Derek Cairns and Lucino are back to return now for the time jump off. The Holsteiner Stallion, owned by Eve Jobs. Ireland represented by Derek Cairns, and the time to catch his fellow countryman's Nicky Gallagher, 38.95, the only clear so far.
Derek Herring's going close with Lucino at 39.67. Goes into second place so far. Nicky Galligan keeping the lead. VDL Nikita on 38.95.
Two left now, a rider for Great Britain and the USA that remain in our time jump off for the first racing title this afternoon. Ireland 1-2 at this stage on the leaderboard. So our current leader, 38.95 for the lead time at this stage. And our next on the way in. Race 70 up in the irons now for Prix HS for Temple Equestrian. Two-star Grand Prix winner last weekend. Trying to make it 2 weekends in a row. 38.95 for their target.
Grace Debney, 37.77, and we'll go into the number 1 Smart Grace and Je Suis HS. So the British rider getting to the top, looking for maybe 2 British international wins into this Sunday. And Grace now leads Nicky Galligan in second for Ireland, Derek Herring's for Ireland in third.
Last to go now in the first racing Grand Prix jump off. Alexander Worthington for the USA, the rider out of Las Vegas with Dulois-Sellier. 11-year-old Cell France Gelding trying to set their sights on 37.77. Last on course.
Well, unfortunately, Final Balance just catches up with them, coming to the final fence, giving it a very good go for Alexander Worthington and Dulois-Sellier. And so, unfortunately, means they come out of the equation. They'll go into 10th place with the completion of the class. It means a win for Great Britain's Grace Debney and Prix. Nicky Galligan finishes in second for Ireland with VDL Nikita. Third, Derek Erins and Lucino. Fourth, Eugenio Garza from Mexico, Victor Finn DHZ. While in fifth place is Sydney Schumann Desiderio and J Boston SE. Jessica Mendoza in sixth with In the Air. Seventh to Stella Wasserman and Play. And eighth place to David Oberkircher. And with Volcato, but concluding the day with the double British wins with Grace Debney at the top here. This time it was a win for Ben Mayer a little bit earlier on, but Grace finishing top this time for the Temple Equestrian with the then Dutch-bred mare by Eldorado, Pete.
Yeah, we'll have an opportunity to enjoy the British anthem coming up here in just a moment for the second time on our closing Sunday. Here in our Fidelity Investments week number 5, prize giving ceremony coming right up for the first racing awards here in our 2-star division. 2 days off, back to the World Championship Hunter Rider Week coming up. World at the Hunter Spectacular this coming Saturday as well. Competition of today is sponsored by North America's premier thoroughbred racing entertainment and wagering company. First, invite you to visit Florida's very own Gulfstream Park to experience it all for yourself. Go to gulfstreampark.com for more information about year-round racing, premium suites, and spectacular trackside dining as well. Top 3 will be back in momentarily for the awards that accompany our first racing Grand Prix. So organizing our first racing obstacle, the fence in place that are utilized for the backdrop of our prize giving and award ceremony coming your way for the first racing 2-star Grand Prix. 44 starters in the opening round. We had a total of 10 return to go against the clock. Top 3 on the return right now for the prize giving, accompanying our $62,500 first racing CSI 2-star. And our presentation of the awards coming up now. Aiden Butler will be presenting here today, president of First Racing, and congratulating in 3rd place. We'll acknowledge Derek Cairns and Lucino will finish out in the 3rd spot. So 3rd coming up for the honors. Representing Ireland here today, Derek Cairns showing the horse under the ownership of Eve Jobs from Palo Alto, California. Ireland in 3rd. Second place also for Ireland, Nicky Galligan, earning the red ribbon ride here today aboard VDL Nikita van der Leeuwerk for his Santa Rosa group out of Los Angeles. Irish riders second and third. Two in a row now for Great Britain's Grace Debney coming up for the win here today. Congratulations with Prix by the Temple Equestrian of Hampden, Massachusetts for the victory. A winner last weekend and a winner now on weekend number 5. First racing win for Great Britain. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we acknowledge our winning effort here today, and a second time today in as many major classes. We offer the presentation and the anthem of Great Britain for the victory for Grace Debney. And congratulations, British rider Grace Debney emerging victorious in our first racing 2-star Grand Prix, a round of honor coming up for our top competitor as well. And leading us off with that honor, Great Britain, Ireland, and Ireland, the top 3 riders in the victory gallop to wrap up our afternoon.